good to me. Brought me from a mighty long way. Put my feet on rock to stay. I gotta testify, Grenada. I gotta testify, Grenada. I gotta testify. God bless you, God bless you. Lord, God What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grace to bear. What a privilege to carry. And a good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. Saying a special good night to those of you joining us via the YouTube. A special good night to those of you joining us via the Facebook. Oh, I find out those phone lines are ringing early. Well, let me answer. Yeah. Oops, yeah, that is my fault, folks, not the caller. Yeah. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Yeah, that is my fault tonight. Hello, good night. Okay, yeah, let me see. Yeah, they're not there. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not there either. Right, yeah. 440-7377-347-329-3101. You can call us on the WhatsApp or you can call us directly. So a special good night to each and every one of you. Seems as though each time I turn off the system when I leave, when I turn it back on, it needs to be fine-tuned. Yeah, so I learned that lesson tonight. It has to be fine-tuned when I get back in because I don't understand why that is happening again. Yeah, that was happening yesterday. We sorted it out and now it's happening again. All right, so 440-7377-329-31. Yeah, 329. My goodness. 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on the inside. The River Sally NNP support group, they are having their social meet and greet and raffle draw. That will be taking place along with their fun day on Saturday, June the 1st, 2024 at the River Sally playing field. Starting time 1 p.m. Free food and they have drinks on sale. So they have free food, but drinks are on sale. Music by the ever popular DJ. So that's the River Sally NNP support group. They're having their social meet and greet, raffle draw, and fun day taking place at the River Sally playing field. That'll be taking place June the 1st, 2024 at the River Sally playing field. So those of you in River Sally and surrounding areas, those of you that can make it out to that activity, do so, yeah? So let's try the phone lines again. Hello, good night. Hello. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night. How are you?
Can you take you off the air, please?
No, I can't do that at this point in time. You'll have to send a message. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, we won't be able to take calls off the line at this point in time. You're gonna have to send me a message. Yeah, say what you have to say in a text message at this point in time. Yeah. Your information is important to us, but I am multitasking at this point in time, my dear. I am in front of 7 different screens. I am monitoring YouTube, Facebook, streaming out to the website, monitoring 2 different sets of WhatsApp, monitoring the stream to the different Facebook and YouTube, monitoring the stream to them. I'm monitoring the content on what is there, also monitoring what is going there. Also paying attention to the phone lines, also I have to be speaking and so on.
So it is not that your information is not important. It is that it is extremely difficult for me when I'm in studio to take a call off air because it's me alone. Yeah. So can you kindly send us a message on the WhatsApp? I will read the message. So send it. I won't read it out on air. Send the message to me on WhatsApp. Yeah. Not a voice message because the voice message would go to air. So send me a text message. Yeah. Again, your information is very important to us. We want to make sure that you understand that. Yeah. And folks, today we had the press conference, yeah? The new National Party is going to be celebrating 40 years this year. Well, we are celebrating, not going to be, already started. Celebrating 40 years. The new National Party was established in the year 1984. Several activities will be taking place. So folks, sometimes when I get the WhatsApp messages and you realize I don't respond immediately, you understand what's going on now. So I have 1 screen, 2 screen, 3 screens, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from this side to this in front of me to the side, they're still doing the camera, still doing the stream, still doing the WhatsApp, still doing the Facebook and the YouTube and everything. So it is not that I'm not reading, but it's extremely difficult, especially to try and carry on a conversation on WhatsApp while you're doing all of this. It would throw me off. Yeah. So I will respond, but you have to give me some time. Yeah. I see. Yeah. So let me just give you all a rundown of the activities that will be taking place. So today you had the press conference that launched the year of activities. On Saturday, the 25th of May, there will be a youth panel discussion, and the topics will be things like crime, sexual abuse and violence, youth vulnerability, drugs and peer pressure, bullying, the crime situation, etc. So that will be taking place on the Saturday, the 25th of May. You'll be getting more information as to the exact location of that discussion. So you'll be having various members of the new National Party together with other people that will be speaking on these issues. So youth activity on the 25th. So the young folks, you can get involved in that. Folks, you can get the young people involved in that particular one. On Sunday, the 30th of June, there'll be the elderly bus ride. That'll be taking place island-wide. So remembering the elderly, they'll be taken on a bus ride around the island. On Sunday, the 14th of July, there's going to be that massive bingo at Victoria Park. Cash prizes. As well as a vehicle up for grabs. Yeah, so that's going to be taking place Sunday, the 14th of July at Victoria Park in Grenville. It's going to be that bingo. Bingo, bingo, bingo. So various cash prizes as well as a vehicle up for grabs. And that'll be followed on Sunday the 20th of July by The Gathering. So that's going to be a new National Party gathering. All the constituencies coming together for a cookout and games and so on, yeah? That's going to be taking place at the Austin George Park up there in Victoria, St. Mark. Saturday the 10th of August, the return of the new National Party Carnival Fete. That's going to be taking place at the Secretariat grounds. To those of you that may not have been to the NNP Fete before, yeah, this one is going to be one for the books, eh? So Saturday the 10th of August, it's going to be the NNP Carnival Fete. And on Thursday the 15th of August, it's the Back to School Drive. No, the new National Party on a yearly basis. Even on Talking Points here, we did it last year. We were able to give out close to 50 bags with notebooks and pencils and pens through your donations and through the donations of various other individuals. We were able to give out over 50 school bags. And we were able to give out with that notebooks, and we were able to give out pencils and pens and rulers, sharpeners, in some cases crayons and markers and different things like that. So the new National Party will be having their back to school drive. That's taking place on Thursday the 15th of August. Sunday the 3rd of November, it's going to be the excursion to Carriacou, the boat ride, and in Carriacou there'll be a memorial service for the Honorable Elvin Nimrod, the late Honorable Elvin Nimrod. They're my Kakabawi brethren. Say Kakabawi for Kakabawi and Kong for Kong. Guy, you saw some scenes. So that's going to be taking place on Sunday, the 3rd of November. The fundraiser, boat ride, and the memorial service for the late Honorable Elvin Nimrod. And then Sunday, the 24th of November, it's going to be the Praise and Gospel concert. I want them, let me DJ for that one. All you fine, huh? Yeah, let me DJ for that one, man. To raise some revival, you know? Wednesday, the 27th of November, it's going to be a press conference where you'll be hearing a lot about the history of the new National Party. Saturday, the 30th of November, there's going to be the new National Party banquet. You'll get more information on that. And there's some other events like the Media Day. There's going to be several things taking place on television and radio over the next few months. And there'll also be a women empowerment forum. And then on Tuesday, the 3rd of December, that's the anniversary of the new National Party winning its first election victory in 1984. It's going to be the mass rally taking place at the Bujeju playing field. So all the new National Party supporters, wherever you are, make sure that you're around on the 3rd of December at the Bujeju playing field. We know the thing go. If you have to wear a mask, we go get a mask and thing for you, man. So you come out. When the day is done, and the shadow fades away. Oh, when the day is done, when the day is done, and the shadow fades away. Oh, So those are just some of the activities. And as I said, those are just some of the activities that will be taking place in the 40th year of the new National Party.
When the day is done and the shadow fades away.
Just some of the activities. To choose the 3, 4, or all that you're coming to. I'm sorry, whoever is calling me on my mobile, I cannot answer at this point in time.
You will suffer like diabetes.
Again, it is extremely difficult for me to do so. Love you, but I won't be able to do it at this time. I'll give you a call back after the program has ended. Feel free to send a message, a text message to me, but I won't be able to take the call at this point in time. So there was a press conference today. Also right now, there's the meeting taking place at the Grenville Secondary School. Hearing they have a good turnout out there at the Grenville Secondary School.
Suffer like diabetes. Jesus and the telly.
Folks, the phone lines are open if you would like to call 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Just giving you all a reminder that this is our final program for the week. There will be no Friday night forum. Yeah. We won't be able to do the Friday night forum now. We will return with the Friday night forum, God's willing, in the month of June, but we will be unable to do it this month. Various challenges that we are trying to sort out, yeah? Zayla and Zoe. Good night to both of you. Zaylia Adejan. And I believe we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Rastaman is right here, man.
Yes, I.
Man, today I listened to Boss and them, man.
Yeah, man.
It was very good, man.
Okay.
Yes, man, they was okay, man. I listened to them from the start to the end, man.
That's good. And for those who haven't listened yet, it is up on the Talking Points page. They can, at the end of the program, go and listen as well.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
And watch, I want to tell my good friend Pammy, good night.
Yes, man.
I love her and just keep on doing. And Sheldon,
Yes,
I
sir.
went in the hospital Tuesday, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, man, I go there and do a blood test and it's like, my name right on a piece of paper and they still asking me to spell my name, you know.
Oh, boy.
No, serious, you know, I say real madness, you know, like just politicalness, some of them just there, you know. Serious thing, man. Yeah. But anyhow, have a good night, man, and keep up the good work so you're doing.
All right. Thank you so very much, my brother.
Yes, man. One love.
All right, man. Yes, man.
Yes.
440-7377. That's 440-7377. And 347-329-3101. Just giving you all a little chance to, get your calls in before I start on the real topic for tonight. You know, we had to talk about CBI tonight because I see some people thumping the chest, beating the chest, puffing the chest, all kind of We had to talk about the citizenship by investment program tonight. Yeah, we've got to have some words about that particular program tonight. Yeah, I think we need to have some talk about that one. Yeah. Let me say a special good night to Patricia and Matthew out there in Canada. Good night to you, Lyndon Fatman George. My good bro Ian out there. All the listeners out there in Calgary. All the listeners out there in Alberta, Montreal, Whichever part of Canada you are, we say a very special good night to you all. Springs people, good night to you all. I know you all there. Shami, good night to you, my dear. Good night, Kata. Good night to my listeners in North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas. Texas, a big up to you all. You all will be extremely surprised at the volume of listeners that we do have out there in Texas. From those who are driving the trucks, the trailer trucks from state to state or parts of Texas to other parts of Texas or so. So those working in different industries. So there are Grenadians all over Texas, yeah? And they lock into talking points on a nightly basis. And we need to say a special good night to Texas. We love all our Carolina, Maryland, those of you out there in Florida, and those of you in New York, wherever you are. One or two of you had messaged me on the Talking Points WhatsApp for the number of the parents of that child that is presently in Florida now, and that child has to do some corrective surgery and so on, to see whichever way that you can support and so on. So who can, those of you that have the direct, those of you that have the studio WhatsApp, whatever, WhatsApp me and I'll send a number for you so you can get in contact with the parents so that you can assist that 3-year-old child that is undergoing surgery, corrective surgery and so on, for a very serious issue, and the family needs as much support as they can have, yeah? You will suffer like I did. Jesus on the telephone. You know, I've been asking myself over the past couple months and so, because I've been waiting to hear more information in relation to the Kimpton-Kawana issue, the True Blue Development Corporation issue and so on. So I've been waiting to hear some more information in relation to that particular issue. As we know, the government of Grenada did not proceed with a defense in relation to the case. The government of Grenada, mind you, had an absolute airtight, perfect defense in relation to this case. But for whatever reason, the present administration decided that instead of going forward with the case, they would settle the case with the people who originally were involved in the Kawana Bay development. Now, there are several aspects to this, that the government of Grenada had a perfect case. There's no way that these people would have been able to win the Grenadian people through the Grenadian government at the courts. There was no way. They had no chance of winning this case. It was basically scare tactics. They knew that what they did was not correct. The government of Grenada had all the evidence to prove that what those individuals did was not correct. Because, for instance, you cannot be receiving, and I'll just use an example here. You cannot say that you are doing a development in Grenada, in the state of Grenada, and you're doing a development here. The government of Grenada, through the CBI program, says to you, in order to fund that program, we are going to officially recognize your project as a CBI project, as a project under the Citizenship by Investment program. And as such, you will be able to market on the international scene that this is a CBI project, that if you pay X amount of money, you will be able to own part of this project. So they had condominiums that they were doing, and people were paying money for those condominiums. Some 200 plus people actually bought condominiums within that development. They already paid their money for it. In that development, they also got Grenadian citizenship. So you're talking over 200 people, and they got Grenadian citizenship. In fact, some $56 million, I think was the figure, was raised in relation to that particular project through the CBI program, 56 million, just for the Koana Bay project. Yeah? You cannot be raising that money and not utilizing that money in the state of Grenada. Grenada has said your project is a CBI project. Grenada has said to you, we will allow you, if it's 50, 60, 70 at a time, passports, once the people go through the proper checks and balances, it's found that they're not involved in anything illegal or so, these individuals will be allowed to become Grenadian citizens on the payment of, I think it was in the region of 300,000, 400,000. Remind me, my friend, the exact amount in one instance, and then it was lowered to, I think, 250,000. So that once you paid that amount of money, you were verified, everything was okay, you're allowed to become a Grenadian citizen. You're allowed to get all the benefits and so on of the condominium, your own property in Grenada. You could come, you go to your thing, you have your Grenadian citizenship, etc. Now, while that was taking place, and the company therefore was gaining money through that program, you found that monies that were supposed to be spent in Grenada found themselves being spent in a project outside of Grenada. That can happen. If the project is a project under CBI, Citizenship by Investment, here in Grenada, and if the monies that you raise towards that project are monies obviously to be spent within the state of Grenada on that specific project, and if it was found that instead of spending the money on the project here, you are collecting money and spending it on a project in a next island, a next territory, not within the state of Grenada, that goes against the CBI rules. It goes against the basic concept of the CBI, because CBI is supposed to be used to develop projects here in Grenada and not develop projects in another country. But you have individuals who, instead of saying, hey, because the Grenadian government, when they recognized that that was taking place, decided to put certain safety measures in place to protect, one, the integrity of Grenada's CBI program, and two, to protect the investors who invested in the program. Because if you pay 350,000 or you pay 450,000, whatever it is, and you've paid that for a project here in Grenada, you expect that project to be completed. You expect benefits out of that project when it's done. You expect that if you pay for a condominium, that a condominium will be completed, that you would get the use of that facility when you need the use of that facility. Not that the money will be taken from Grenada and spent in another island, because that other island and that development has nothing to do with you, but it's your money being used on it. So protect Grenada's CBI program, and to protect the integrity of Grenada's CBI program and the investors who put their monies into that program and the Grenadian people. For if these investors decided to bring a class action lawsuit against the government of Grenada for not protecting their investment, the new National Party administration put various measures in place to protect the Grenadian people, protect the investors, protect the CBI program. The people get vexed. They decide they don't like that. They should be able to do what they want with their money, as they call it, their money, but it wasn't their money, because when you check the amount of money that they put into the whole project, the majority of money was from the 200 plus investors. So they decided that they're going to take the government of Grenada to court. That government of Grenada is treating them unfairly. So that matter was in the courts. In comes the NDC administration, and the NDC administration says, well, here's what. We're not going to go to court. The new National Party had a case with Grenlec in the court, and the case went in favor of Grenlec. Of course it went in favor of Grenlec. The share purchase agreement that the other NDC government back in 1994 signed with Grenlec stated that there was a clause in there that the government of Grenada would have to buy back the shares. And they enforced that through the courts. So the government of Grenada had no choice really, because there was a buyback clause within the share purchase agreement between WRB and the government of Grenada, not the New National Party government, that was the NDC government back then. Could ask Uncle Tilly about that. So there was no way that you could have gotten out of that, because it was a badly conceived, nonsensically applied, and very, very irresponsible deal to get into in the first place back in 1994 in the way that it was got into. So the New National Party's hands were basically tied on that particular issue. So they enforced the buyback clause, and NNP had to pay, take back the court. You didn't have a choice. There was a court order in relation to this particular issue. They tried to make it like, oh, NNP. No, there was a court order, and it was due to the buyback clause that was there. So that came and it happened. Ask them who was the lawyer? The present Prime Minister of Grenada was the local lawyer on behalf of same WRB Enterprises. In fact, ask the present Prime Minister, when you all get a chance, if he ever decides he's going to face the media again, because he realizes he's hiding from the media, ask him the question, if when the government of Grenada had to pay WRB, if it was not his bank account, or his company's bank account, in other words, that were used, that the government of Grenada had to put the how much $1 million to pay WRB. Ask him that question and hear the answer. He'll be very, very surprised. Well, he might be surprised after I say that, but you might be pleasantly surprised at the answer that is given by the present Prime Minister. But that said, back to Coana, this administration decide that, hey, we are not going forward with that case. We don't want to go in court. Let us settle with the people outside of court, and they've decided they're going to pay them what? I think it's somewhere in the region of 22 million US or so they're going to pay these individuals and to end the case. So they've paid off these individuals. But Tong say, when you're on the streets, you were hearing before the 2022 general election that the same individuals that they decided that they're not going to go ahead with a case against, that those individuals funded the National Democratic Congress election campaign of 2022 in order to get rid of the New National Party. Let me repeat that. You've been hearing out on the streets. It has been whispered in quiet places. It has been said on buses. It has been said all over the place that when it comes to the election campaign of the National Democratic Congress, that it was funded by that same company that they decided to settle with and pay 22 million US, when I think that company paid what? I think it was 19 million EC or something alone that they had put, that was their contribution into the project. So the rest of the money, the 56 million, was really from investors. So you heard that this was basically, in the eyes of many people, this seemed like a case of payback. When you recognize as well that on the board of the CBI program, there is an individual that works with the same company. So there's an individual that sits on the Citizenship by Investment Board who works with the same company that was doing the Coana investment in the same place that the government of Grenada recognized that monies were leaving Grenada and going to for a project there. Because the people were doing a project in Grenada, they're doing a project other place. And they were taking the money from Grenada and using on the project the other place. And you recognize that the person that is in charge of that project is on the same board of directors that made the decision that they are not going forward with the case, pay the people. And you realize as well that the accountant, the person who were doing the accounts, they know how much money the company had, everything, that the accountant of that same company that the government of Grenada settled with. That the people who were doing the accounts of that company, but not the accountant, because that's a different category, but the company that was doing their, what do you call it again, looking over their accounts and so, doing their auditing and all of that, that company, you had an individual who is very high up in that company on the board of directors that made the decision not to go forward in that case. So two people that already compromised, one working with the company, one that was doing a contract on behalf of that company. And then third, the person in charge overall was the banker of that particular company. So three individuals who should have recused themselves from this issue totally had a say in the government of Grenada stepping back from that case and having to find millions really to pay off a company that didn't even spend that amount of money in the state of Grenada for a case that the state of Grenada would have won if this government had the guts and the belly to go to court. But maybe if they fund your campaign, you may have found it difficult. You may have found that difficult to go and say, well, no, we can't pay you, or we can. Yeah, you may have found it difficult. So this is a situation. Yeah, this is a situation. And again, the WhatsApp messages, sometimes I can't respond. You kind of throw me off, yeah. So this is a situation, definitely, that you need to understand when it comes to Kowana Bay. Now, the government has said that they would make payments. I think the first payment was made either at the end of last year or early this year. There was supposed to be a payment to Kowana Bay, the people who were in charge of it and so on. And the project is supposed to be handed over to a new investor. As yet, I hear and look at things, but you recognize that it seems as though they made a premature announcement in relation to that particular project, because you are not seeing any work progressing, any work taking place on that project. And that investor, when they were doing the Silver Sands and so on, I remember I was there when they had the launch, and right after that, you see they start to clear up land and all sorts of stuff, and they start with it. Then you realize they acquired Beach House and they start their work there one time. So these are not people that are stick on things. So we have to ask the question of the Prime Minister, now that you've paid off the investor, not the investor, because there are still 200 plus investors to be paid off in relation to this issue. Now that you've paid off the people who were the original people who brought the contract, the project into Grenada, you paid that, well, that is if they've been paid off. Because the Prime Minister keeps having press conferences and saying that, oh, we're sticking to this issue, we're sticking to that issue, and he's not going to speak on this and he's not going to speak on that. So they're not taking questions in relation to different things. So while the media may have questions in relation to this, it is extremely difficult for them to get any answers on that particular issue. Yeah? So we need to find out what is taking place when it comes to the Kowana Bay facility. I don't know if you all have been driving through and seeing a set of construction and work taking place there. Somebody tell me if you all have been passing there and you all are seeing a set of thing taking place there and a set of work taking place there. Let me know. But as far as I have been seeing, I have not seen any set of stuff going on down there. Yeah? So we need to find out what's going on, because there's another aspect of it. Now, while the government has spoken of the 22 million or so that they're going to pay to that company, there are over 200 investors who invested $56 million US into this project and who are not being transferred over to the new project, because the last we heard is that they are going to allow these individuals to keep their passports, and that these individuals, they're going to work out how they're going to address these individuals. Yeah, the issues that surround these individuals, because obviously you're either going to have to find 56 million or more to pay these investors. Yeah? You're going to have to find that money and you're going to have to pay these investors. Let me see if I can. And let me just see if I can find the audio with that particular one for you. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the audio with that one here for you. I don't know where it's gone. Yeah, everything working wrong these last few days. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get that one for you. Oh, okay, it's updating. That's what's taking place here. Right, yeah, that is updating. Yeah. So we were told that they were in the process, and that was in October of last year. There was an appearance on the Bob Report, and they were saying that they will find the mechanism of how they're going to address the issue of those people who were under the program
and would have received.
Let me just get this up for you all. So let's hear what the response was there.
The way the project is designed, right? You have to go into the legal documents, so that people actually have property rights that need to be respected, right, in our jurisdiction. So compulsory acquisition is something that happens throughout the world. The question is, what is a fair and just compensation for those persons whose properties have been acquired? And that is
a question. So these are people who would have bought into the previous project, right?
Correct.
And are now part owners of the previous project and would have received passports.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Right. So we're now talking about compulsorily acquiring their shares in the hotel, their ownership rights in the hotel. We're talking about buying that back. What happens to their passports? Do we get that back too?
No. That is untouched, not affected in any way, shape, or form.
So
and notice what they're speaking about here is not the developers. They're speaking about the investors, 200 plus. This government has not come to any of us and said, this is the amount of money, this is the quantum of money that we are going to have to use to pay these individuals. They have never come to the Grenadian people and made a statement. And again, we're not speaking of the developer here. The developer, they stated they're going to pay them 22 million. That's who take them to court and so. But outside of the developer, you have 200 plus people who own property there that the government is acquired, and the government is going to have to pay them due and just compensation according to the law of Grenada at current property prices for that property. And remember, when these people paid for the property, it was undeveloped. Now it's developed a bit. So it may actually cost more in most instances. So these individuals have not said to us how much, what quantum, because the figure that I know that these investors, that I can confirm that these investors put into that project was 56 million US. This government has not said to you, they have not said to me, they have not said to any of us on any public forum if they have settled with these investors, if they are paying them 56 million, if it's ballooned to 80 something million or 100 million, they have said nothing to us. But this is the head of the project here. This is the head of the CBI unit there. Yeah, the chair of the CBI board in Grenada. And again, listen to him carefully.
The way the project is designed, right, you have to go into the legal documents, so that people actually have property rights that need to be respected, right, in our jurisdiction. So compulsory acquisition is something that happens throughout the world. The question is, what is a fair and just compensation for those persons whose properties have been acquired? And that is
a question. So these are people who would have bought into the previous project, right?
Correct.
And are now part owners of the previous project and would have received passports.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Right. So we're now talking about compulsorily acquiring their shares in the hotel, their ownership rights in the hotel. We're talking about buying that back. What happens to their passports? Do we get that back too?
No. That is untouched, not affected in any way, shape, or form.
So they would have bought in, gotten passports, and now we're buying them back, but they still have the passports. Do you see something wrong in this?
Absolutely nothing wrong in that. Your purchase had different components to it.
Well, I don't see how you can see there's nothing wrong with this, because if I buy something and it comes with certain rights, and I am there selling those rights, therefore, basically, I get a passport for nothing. Because
I think not, Brian. That is.
Let me finish. They would have bought into the scheme. They would have bought into the Kawana-based scheme. Say they've spent 200,000, 300,000, they bought in and they got their passport. The government is now going to buy them back at somewhere about the same price.
So, and if it's for about somewhere the same price we're speaking, at the very least, $56 million. This government tells you about the 22, they ain't telling you about the 56. They keep talking about the 22, and I say this in the context of, we hear the present administration and we hear the boast now of last year being the best year under the CBI. That Grenada was able to bring in over $1 billion in revenue out of the Citizenship by Investment program. Well, bravo, the New National Party has never been against the CBI program, because remember, it was the New National Party that brought back the CBI program back in the year 2013. It was the New National Party that started the process and brought back a CBI program to the island of Grenada. Yes, so the New National Party has never been and still is not against the CBI program. But when you're boasting the figures, remember to tell the people certain aspects of why Grenada is where it is when it comes to the CBI. Let the Grenadian people know that it is because of the Russian pipeline. That because of the number of people that you all were able to get from Russia, who otherwise are not being accepted by any other country under their CBI program, that as of today, the 16th day of May 2024, the Cabinet of Grenada is still processing Russian applicants. Let me repeat that question in case some folks at the back, that statement, in case some folks at the back of the class who were playing at that point in time did not hear. While at the 16th day of May in 2024, the Cabinet of Grenada is still approving applicants from Russia. The CBI program of Grenada, contrary to the agreement signed in March of 2023, is still processing Russian applicants. Now, I myself have nothing against the Russian people. They're human beings. I have no problem with the Russian people. But the Grenada signed an agreement with the U.S. Treasury. And understand the implications of if Grenada is found in breach of this agreement that they signed with the U.S. Treasury. Yeah? There are implications for our banking system and counterpart banking. In other words, those of you who in the States and in Canada and so on, and even in the UK, and you want to send money home, may catch hell to be able to wire transfer money into the state of Grenada. Yeah, and those of you in Grenada, the very few, who have to send out large sums of money, may be very well the business people and so on, may find themselves in some serious situations, especially the larger businesses, in being able to purchase items outside of Grenada through their banks and so on, because there will be a problem. The credit unions, everybody, will have a problem if the U.S. Treasury decides to drop the hammer on Grenada for simply not abiding by what they have put in place. You also have the situation where the government of Grenada, and from what I've heard there's an allegation, and let me state clearly, we deal with things as we hear it. There is an allegation. I ain't find the documents yet, but documents, brown envelope does drop. But there's an allegation that this administration is still accepting applications through specific agents under the CBI program. Yeah? There is still the situation where this administration is accepting applicants from Russia under the CBI program. And that is a problem. Because as of March, they were supposed to stop accepting new applications and they were supposed to stop processing new applications. But there's an allegation out there that they have pinpoint 3 or so CBI agents. And they have said to these people, check these people, we are going to process your application and we are going to backdate it to before March last year. So then we can process it, which they're not even supposed to be processing. The agreement was clear. It said no processing, no accepting of new applications. Yeah, it was very clear. Grenada, I could give them the name of some of the people that they process, you know. I could give you all some names. I could call some names so you have people from Russia and so on. I have some others too. Yeah, that I could call for you all and tell you all that these are people that you all have approved under the CBI program over the past few months. So there is still processing taking place, and the danger for the average Grenadian is that when we have to go to the MoneyGram or when we have to go to the Western Union to send or receive, we may find ourselves in problem. When something happens, an emergency here, and the family member have to wire money to one of the banks here, the process may be extremely longer because Grenada may find itself having to go through extra checks and balances because of the misdeeds of this administration. You don't play around with the U.S. Treasury. So they signed an agreement with the U.S. Treasury in March of last year, and they have not continued doing what they promised they would do with the U.S. Treasury. And that is a dangerous thing. Yeah? A very dangerous thing. You don't promise them that you're going to do this and then you don't do it. And then you're hearing the allegations now of not just that you continue processing, but that you continue accepting applications. And while accepting those applications, you're backdating them to before the cutoff period. That, my friends, is a problem. That, my friends, is a problem because the talk is out there. Even among some of the agents, yes, CBI agents, I know about it, I've heard about it. Even among some of the CBI agents. Yeah? And remember, Mr. Nazim Burke is a CBI agent. Brother Naz is a CBI agent now, you know. Yeah. But amongst the CBI agents, that is a cause for concern. They've been speaking about it. Because there can be serious damage while other countries were not taking in people. So you have a CBI program in St. Kitts. They were not taking Russian applicants. Since the war started in the Ukraine, they had cut it off, as Grenada had cut it off at that point in time. On returning to office, this administration reopened taking applications from Russia, where Dominica wasn't doing it, St. Kitts wasn't doing it, St. Lucia wasn't doing it, right? Dominica wasn't doing it. So all these islands in the OECS, they were not taking applications under the CBI program from Russians. Grenada was the only one. So Grenada get all. So if it was a situation where the other islands were doing it, Grenada would not reach $1 billion because they did not have that pipeline of all the Russian people going to one place. That wasn't a situation that existed. You would have had all the other countries having a share of that money. Instead, Grenada hogged the market. But the other part of this you have to understand is that our present Prime Minister remains a CBI agent. You can say what you want. Mitchell and Co., Mitchell and Partners, carries his name. Who is the owner? Who benefits at the end when these companies make money? It is the same Prime Minister. He can say that he has distanced himself, but yet still, every CBI program all over the world, the Prime Minister decides that he's going to jet set there and he's going to speak on CBI issues and so on, while he is the principal owner of a CBI company right here in Grenada. And at a point in time, while Prime Minister, in other words, the chairman of the cabinet of ministers who have to make a decision on these CBI applications, after they're sent up from the CBI board, it goes to cabinet. Cabinet makes a final decision on these things. And then the Prime Minister himself, as the Prime Minister, had to sign off on the citizenship documents of these individuals so that they could go afterwards and get their passport and so on. So he has to sign off on those citizenship documents. And he was a CBI agent. So you would have found a situation where he could find himself signing off on the documents of individuals that his company brought into the CBI program. In any other country, that is considered to be wrong. That is considered to be funny business. I wanted to use that C word for it. But all you go use that. I go stay quiet on that one. All you go use that word for it. Yeah? Have a word that begin with C. And it does rhyme with eruption. Yeah? That it is used for things like that. Because not only that, at the point in time, the Prime Minister was also the Minister of Finance. So the developers, and let me explain this to you carefully. The people who are the developers, so the people who say, we are building this hotel, we are building this factory, whatever. When they need a concession, they say, well, we need to bring in 4 vehicles, we need to bring in equipment and so on. When they are saying these things, they need to get that concession through who? The Minister of Finance, who happens to be a CBI agent, who can say to them, because it is not just corruption, but the appearance of corruption. Yeah? That's what you have to be careful with. Not just if it is a fact that that is happening, but the appearance and the likelihood and the possibility that that is happening. Ask any lawyer. They'll tell you that. It's not just that it is happening. It is the possibility that it can be happening. It is the appearance that it is happening. And it is the possibility that it is happening. So while the Prime Minister can try to distance himself as much as possible, if the company belongs to you, if it's your name, not just on the company, but when the company makes money, you make money. You're the one giving concessions to the developers. The developers are the ones that can tell the people that coming in to buy the passports, hey, check Mitchell and Company, check Mitchell and Partners, or whatever, because I think this one is Mitchell and Partners. Check Mitchell and Partners. Yeah, they go handle you. And then the developers could say to the person who is the principal owner of Mitchell and Partners, hey, I need a concession, 100% concession on 4 vehicles. I need X amount of concessions for 20 years in relation to this issue in their capacity as Minister of Finance. And then when these people's passports come, they can come at the end of it and still go. The same person had to sign off on it. I mean, come on. So when we hear nothing about Kimpton and we realize another month is coming to an end and our government continues to, as a good friend of mine messaged me a while and so, information would be given on a need-to-know basis. Maybe they believe that we, the Grenadian people, do not need to know what is going on when it comes to this particular issue. Because remember, it was the same individual who is Prime Minister now during the election campaign that said he's willing to take money from people in the CBI program. I wonder if I have that clip. I might have that clip somewhere wrong, man. Because some of them clipping tonight, man. Yeah? But it's the same individual that says that he was willing to take money from people under the CBI program for his election campaign. He saw no problem with the NDC as a political organization taking money for the CBI from CBI developers and so on, and they giving money towards an election campaign. He had no problem with that. Yeah? Folks, we're going to open the phone lines. It is now 8 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. 440-7377, 347-329-69 3101. And let me explain even further. The present Minister of Finance, my dear brother Cornwall, the present Minister of Finance also runs a CBI company. The Minister of Finance is the one that has to provide the concessions to the developers under the CBI program. It is clear as day. It is very obvious that the potential for corrupt acts are there. Because if you are running a CBI company, and therefore the developers are the ones that may tell the people who are interested in CBI, check that CBI agent, that local agent, check Mr. Cornwall's company. And Mr. Cornwall is the one that's providing concessions to the developer. There is the likelihood, there is the possibility, not of eruption, but the possibility of corruption. Yeah? So we have to be very careful with that as well. 440-7377, that's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Remember again, New National Party celebrating 40 years, yeah?
We're going green all the way. Green.
Folks, also remember the St. Patrick West group of the New National Party. They're having their Family Fun Day. And that is taking place this Sunday. All right, and it's going to be taking place, let me see, where? The Mount Rich playing field. They've got the bouncy castle, ring games, raffle, outdoor games. They have a limited overs cricket match, small goal, football, and big people party a little later on in the night, right? So admission $10 for the big people party. They have DJ White Boy featuring John Boy, Exterminator songs. For if you want your tickets and so for the St. Patrick West Family Fun Day, you've got to call 435-4523 or 417-8343. Let me give you those numbers again. 435-4523 or 417-8343. That's taking place at the Mount Rich playing field, St. Patrick, this Sunday. All right, so it starts at midday. And of course, they got the bouncy castle for the kids. Let me say the children. Some people don't like to hear kids. So they got the bouncing castle for the children. They've got ring games, raffle, outdoor games, limited overs cricket, small goal football. So a lot of activities taking place out there in Mount Rich this Sunday. So yeah, organize your transportation and, head on up and thing and make sure you participate. Nice. 440-7377. You can call us on the WhatsApp. You can call us directly. And 347-329-3101. And someone is just telling me here they went to collect money from Grenada, and for some reason the Western Union in New York, that is, they took a picture of them. I don't know since when they're doing that. Anybody else that has had that happening to them here, well, not here, in New York, let me know. That you go to Western Union to collect money from Grenada and they're taking a picture of you. I find that's kind of strange. I know they usually take your ID and they would scan your ID or whatever. They keep a copy of that, but taking a picture of you, it's interesting.
They didn't do a thing, no. Now they come begging you for another try. Tell them Grenada is not a toy. With a leader vibrant and strong, and until that's second to none. Keep moving. We voting NNP. After Emily and Ivan, never forget the poor man.
And I don't know if the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance thinks that it's okay to just remove your name off of the CBI site and that removes the conflict. That does not remove the conflict. Your company needs to be struck from the list of CBI companies in the state of Grenada. And we also have, remember, we have Miss Andrea St. Bernard, who is also a senior member of the NDC, who is supposed to be out there drumming up business for the state of Grenada. It's been over a year. Can we hear a report? in relation to what benefits her posting, diplomatic posting, has provided to the people of Grenada. Can we have an update as to what Mr. Orlando Romain, who seems to be tripsing all over the world following on the coattails of our dear Prime Minister, what benefits has he brought to the Grenadian people? No, you have to ask these questions because you recognize the Prime Minister is going Ghana and then you hear delegation going there, but they speak of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs going, and for some reason they seem to be scared to let you know that Mr. Romain gone too. They seem to let you know, I think is what's his name? The other name is slipping me right now. There's another gentleman that went as well. So they seem to be afraid to let you know of this, and then you realize the Prime Minister is going around, and I don't know if he thinks he's Beyonce or whatever, but he has to carry a photographer with him. We are not sure if the fees that are paid for and to this photographer are through the Treasury of Grenada, or if it is being paid by the Prime Minister himself. Yes, Mr. Richard Nixon. Yeah, should I remember that in the name of an ex-US president. So Mr. Richard Nixon has found himself in Ghana as well as Mr. Orlando Romain. Listen, the time will come when answers have to be given, I hope they understand that, They're there for a while, not forever. Yeah? NNP win 15 seats. And they're out of office now. Yeah? Only win 9. The last NDC win 11. And they were thumping the chest and boasting and all kind of thing. NNP come and take all 11 and keep what they had before they had. So there will be a time when answers have to be given. So don't think this is, as my friend say, let me get the exact wording again, information would be given on a need-to-know basis. This is not a situation of information being given on a need-to-know basis, We are asking what benefit to the state of Grenada has Miss Andrea St. Bernard brought? If she's out there supposed to be drumming up business, if she's supposed to be out there carrying a diplomatic passport, representing the people of Grenada while she carries on her CBI business, because you all might be very surprised to find out that while they say $1 billion, Grenada CBI pass $1 billion, all you feel is the government get that money. Because Miss Andrea St. Bernard is out there, She out there in Ghana too. And you realize that they are targeting Africans now to fill the vortex that's being created, because we've been speaking about all of the Russians coming into the project and the US. Good evening to you all listening out there in the US from the US Embassy. We know they listen every night and we welcome you all. Yeah? Because they have started asking questions of this administration in relation to the Russians under the program. They have decided that they need to find a new market. So one, they're trying to expand on the Chinese market. No problem with that, it's China. You're trying to expand on the Chinese market, but they have decided that they're going to try to open out wider the African market. So if they can get some of the multi-billionaires and millionaires out of Nigeria and Ghana and so on, and South Africa and so on, to become part of Grenada's CBI program, they may be able to maintain the level that they've had with the Russian things. But understand something, because some people are seeing that you're jumping up and all kind of thing. Woo! Grenada CBI program. Grenada CBI program bring $1 billion in. Who projects were there that they bring $1 billion in? Not one new project was brought in by Mr. Deacon and Miss Mitchell and the NDC administration. Every single project that was used to bring in that $1 billion was approved by who? Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and the new National Party administration. So give them the praise. It was the NNP that approved all those projects under the CBI. No new not a single new project has been approved. You have Miss Andrea St. Bernard running all with a Grenadian passport. I saw she bank account, but right now she maybe can't fit all the money in one bank. It may be in about 3 or 4. The same goes with the Prime Minister's company. The same goes with the Minister of Finance company. So you're hearing $1 billion. Who you think making the local agents, i.e., people like the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, and Mr. Andrea St. Bernard, and now, as of late, our good friend Mr. Nazim Burke, who are making the money, not the state of Grenada. The state of Grenada only gets a small percentage in fees when you do a CBI transaction. So the state of Grenada doesn't get the $1 billion, you know. You have the international agent, the local agent. You have the developer who's developing the program where the vast majority of the money goes into, and the government of Grenada gets a percentage for facilitating all of that. They don't get $1 billion. So don't leave with the impression that Grenada make $1 billion. Let's just make sure that that is understood. Let's demystify the mystifications. Grenada did not make $1 billion. There are some people that pocket fat off of that. They pocket real fat off of that right now. But who were the ones that created the environment, brought back the CBI program? The new National Party administration. I know, because I sat in Parliament when we brought back the legislation for the CBI. I sat in Parliament while we amended various aspects of what we had brought in, because on the world stage, things were changing at different times, and they were asking for certain things to be included, and according to what you saw happening with CBI programs in other countries, you had to make different amendments, so we were making the different amendments and so on. So I sat in Parliament, and I was part of that process. So I ain't saying this from what I hear from somebody, I'm saying this from what I know for a fact. So they go boasting and they put in a picture of the present Prime Minister like if he has something to do with the $1 billion. What he had to do with that? He make money off of it. Why you don't tell the Grenadian people how much money he's made off of CBI between the year 2022 and now? Ms. Andrea St. Bernard, seeing that how she is actually carrying out a governmental function outside of her function that she carries out as the chairperson of the board of directors of the GDB, where government ministers have been fleecing it of millions of dollars. Outside of that, which under the legislation that the Integrity in Public Life legislation, as the chairperson of a board, she's supposed to make a declaration to the Integrity Commission. And I can tell you that off my head without having to go and dig for the legislation, because I eat it. Yes, I eat the legislation. I know it inside out. So as the chairperson of a board, she's supposed to make a declaration. You find out, my good friends in the media, find out if she make a declaration. And find out what her bank account was looking like in June 2022 and what she bank account looking like just before June 2024. Find out. Yeah? Go and find out. Because she's the treasurer of the NDC. She could be out there trying to find money for the NDC. She's a CBI agent. She could be out there trying to find things for CBI. How many new projects has she brought into Grenada? We have an individual that's supposed to be carrying out the role of going out there and finding different things in the medical field for the state of Grenada. The only thing I hear is that they find a company that when medication about to expire, they will collect it and send it to Grenada. Medication that you're supposed to, that it's still kind of in the testing stage, they could send that to Grenada, that kind of thing. That the only, and I don't know if that was an initiative of them or if that company find Grenada and say, look, we're looking to help. But what have they been doing? Because, you see, it's a situation where there's no reporting. Under the new National Party, you knew on a Tuesday that there was reporting. You knew that every now and again, you would hear the Prime Minister of Grenada do a national address and report to the Grenadian people on several issues. Whatever issues. You wouldn't have this crime taking place and people getting gunned down in the streets and all kind of thing, and you don't hear Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell speaking on that issue. Every one of you know him. Whether you like him, whether you don't like him, whether you love him, whatever. You knew that you were guaranteed not only that he would speak on the issue, but that he would effect immediate measures to address it at different levels. From the police force and from different angles, he would effect different measures to ensure that that situation was dealt with. The present Prime Minister, oh, they kill one? No problem. Hey, what time of flight leaving? Gone. He gone. And there's not the first time, there's not the second time, there's not even the third time that you have these sort of things taking place and the Prime Minister just even if you're going, you could just, the same way that they're doing it for other things, you pull a phone and you do a little something at the airport. In fact, I don't have to tell the press secretary, but maybe I have to tell the press secretary how to do the job. Find Miss Keisha Grant, she might be able to give you some advice. I think she are wrong. Find Miss Philomena Robertson, she might be able to help you. Mr. Selwyn Noel is around, he's a very knowledgeable person in relation to that. In fact, okay, if you don't want to speak to them, you have Mr. Barry Collymore. He's around, he was a former press secretary, very knowledgeable. You could find Barry and speak to him. Barry does talk to everybody. If you don't want to speak to any of them, you find all of these people, Miss Nancy Maguire and so on, all of these were former press secretaries of Dr. Mitchell. Okay, Mr. Richard Simon is there. And I'm pretty sure he'd be willing to give all of his knowledge and so on and assist. He's been involved in the media since when? The 1970s, somewhere there. He'd be willing to help. But instead of that, this kind of nonsense. You have a whole press conference as Prime Minister. You're talking on different issues. 2 people get killed in the last few days. You don't even say to the families, our condolences to the families. No emotional intelligence. I wouldn't say no intelligence, but no emotional intelligence. And we're supposed to sit down and just accept all of that, innit? We're supposed to just sit down and accept that, as though that is right and that is the correct way for the state of Grenada to conduct business. No, that we can't be operating like that. Yeah? We definitely cannot be operating in that manner. So when it comes to the CBI program, because there are many folks that have not heard us speak on this issue before. There are many folks that haven't heard us speak on this issue before. We need reports now. No, we want reports. What has Mr. Orlando Romaine? We hear in salaries right now. I hear some kind of salaries passing day. Yeah? If you think government ministers getting a lot, find out with some of them like Mr. Terence Forrester, Mr. Orlando Romaine. Find out the kind of salaries that these individuals are receiving, Ms. Andrea St. Bernard. Find out if they're receiving a salary and find out the kind of salaries they're receiving. Yeah? And then let's ask the question, where's the report? In the space of time that they have been appointed, what have they done for the state of Grenada? What have they achieved for the state of Grenada? We have seen absolutely no new projects under the CBI. Not a single new project. Somebody don't come and say they're building pit latrine under the CBI to sell to an next country. We want it here. But somebody ain't come and say they're building pit latrine. There's a new project under the CBI. Nothing under the CBI. Yet still, yeah, somebody trips in all over the place. So the Prime Minister reached in Ghana, Ms. Andrea St. Bernard reached there, Mr. Richard Nixon reached there, Mr. Orlando Romaine reached there. Yeah? So the whole team, they go on a line. And when they come back, they have nothing to report to us. I always use the name Mr. Simon Steele. When he traveled and he come back, Grenada, we secured, we had some intense discussions, and these were the key issues, and Grenada's viewpoint was this. And with Grenada's viewpoint, we looked at that issue, and we were able to put forward a proposal and secured X amount of $1 million for this project. Climate change, the blue economy, all of these projects, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, were able to secure it. So when you see all the work going on Fort George, you know that was things that the new National Party administration went out there and secured the funding for, and it's being done. Even though they come and they lose the money under the UK project, they lost it after the new National Party secured that money. Simply because they wanted to say, well, NNP didn't, or you could implement during a world crisis, you could implement. And trying to put that on the end, oh, they're supposed to implement, and they didn't do this, and they didn't do that, and all this kind of nonsense. Your master implement something that all you bring. Your master at implementation. Implement something that all you bring. All you can even say is all you like the playing field, because under Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox, they're bringing them light on them. Them light on them was here already. The traffic lights, like it or don't like it, the traffic lights and them were here already by the time the new National Party went out of office. So all you can't even say that all you implement that. Implement something that all you bring, except sufferation on the Grenadian people. Because that seems to be the only project that the NDC administration is able to effectively manage. Imposing sufferation on the Grenadian people. They're very effective at that. Just one project. They're jumping up. Oh, hey, see, Grenada CBI program. And I go, hear them? You hear them, eh? Oh, Grenada CBI project. And this could have never happened under the NNP. Hello? Which one of the projects is an NDC project that brought in that $1 billion again? Just name one. Just name one of the developments that was there. In fact, name one of the developments that the NDC didn't fight against. So whether it's Intercontinental or Sixth Sense, you have people that sit down in the NDC cabinet that fight against those developments. They fight against it. I hear who are children working down there, all kind of thing. No? My God. Hey, some of them who fight against that project, the children working there. Hypocrite. And guess who got the job for them? Daddy. At the same place that they had a problem with. So whether it was in Intercontinental or Sixth Sense, whether it was the Silver Sand, when you had one mukish one going down on the beach, walking with measuring tape and saying, that too close, that too close, that too close. Now they're proud to talk about CBI revenue and so on. Oh, we've gotten so much money under the CBI program. But there was walking there with measuring tape on the beach for that CBI project. And measuring they too close to the beach. The same Kawana Bay. They started behind that project until it ended up in the court issue. And then they went onto the developer side because it was something against Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and the New National Party. Yeah? And a good friend of mine just let me know there about that issue with the bus stop at the top of Market Hill. And I'll say this to the Royal Grenada Police Force, think again. I use that bus stop every single morning on my way to drop my son off. And I'm not saying this in a selfish way for myself because due to where he's going now and where he'll be going soon, I only have a limited amount of time to be using it still. But I recognize the necessity for that bus stop for those children that are going to Heinzie and those children going to Mother Rose and so on, that they stop there and they're able to take the short walk just down to Heinzie School or they take the short walk up to Mother Rose. Now, you're removing that bus stop at the top of Market Hill and those children, as of Monday, don't bother with the big people. The children now, rain, sun or shine, so if it's raining heavy, they have to go down in town and they have to walk up to Heinzie. That making sense to all you, really and truly? Is that such a bother? Does it have such a large problem then? I don't find I to see a big backup of traffic because of what the bus drivers doing there in the morning. The people coming out from St. David, from Windsor Forest and Vincennes and these areas, St. Paul's buses, the Grandans buses, the buses coming on the eastern side, they would pass there and they drop off the children who going or the people who working along Church Street. Also, even people going to the hospital. They're not feeling well. They drop off there and they're able to walk from there, just walk across and then you go up to the hospital. Now you're condemning them to have to go down to the terminal and walk from the terminal and walk up the hospital steps to go to the hospital. Explain to us, the Grenadian people, because at the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the year, and at the end of the time in your job, we are the ones that you are supposed to be representing and acting in the best interest of. Explain to us how moving that bus stop is in the best interest of all persons that it serves. You may have a little traffic. I don't think I see a traffic thing there for all half hour and 10 minutes and all kind of thing. The buses stop, they drop off and they move. I use it every morning, so I see it. And I think sometimes these individuals need to take things from the perspective of those of us that use it. And not people that just might be driving in a private vehicle and they complain because a bus stopped to drop off somebody or something like that. Or maybe there's a business place there and the business place don't want it. I ain't want them boss and them stopping there. So to please the business, you decide that you don't want them bosses and them there. I mean, come on, really and truly, in a reasonable, sensible manner, what is the reasoning behind removing that bus stop? Yeah? What is the reasoning? Because you are your vehicle? You are your vehicle, so you could go right in front of Heinzie and drop your child. Or you could go right up by Mother Rose, where the Rasta man does be calling traffic, and so you could go up there and you could drop your child. But the rest of us who had to take the bus, we had to go down to town now and then walk back up. So you're passing the school and you're going down, and then you're walking to come back up. Maybe you find them children getting too fat, they need exercise, I don't know. But we're heading into the rainy season. So if the rain is falling heavily, whereas they might have been able to stop there and just run across to the school, that'll go down in town, come through town and walk back up. Especially the extra little ones whose parents find, well, okay, they could drop right there, it's just a couple steps to the school. Yeah, take that out. That ain't making sense to them, innit? Yeah, the kind of things that does take place in this place. So you have to wonder, 440-737-734-7329. Folks, we just have roughly about 26 minutes remaining on tonight's program. So if you've got to call, you've got to call now. Yeah, you had a call.
This one dedicated to all Grenadans. Yeah, man. Wave your hands. Hey, hey. And then we marching on to victory. And then we marching on to victory. Tell them again. And then we marching on to victory. And then we marching on to victory. Jump and shout, tell it all about.
We had to continue asking questions because it seems as though this government, even though they speak about freedom of information, they ain't getting no information. The Marketing and National Importing Board, we look forward to the reopening of that institution in the month of June. Just a couple weeks away. We look forward to the reopening of the Marketing and National Importing Board in whichever way, form, or format that they are going to be reopening it. We were told the month of June. June is next month. Let me say it properly. June is next month. Yeah, let me pronounce the THs. I had a teacher, Mr. Edwards, when I was small. Right now, they get wrapped with a meter rule already. Yeah? June is next month. So we await the reopening of the Marketing and National Importing Board in its new format with bated breath. Because remember, the farmers, they're talking about the amount of agricultural production went down last year because of the serious heat waves that passed through Grenada. Well, it means this year we're facing a similar situation, but that's not the only reason that you didn't have agricultural production up there. They did not have the Marketing and National Importing Board to take significant amounts of their produce off their hands, and therefore it didn't make sense you putting it in the ground if you don't have the market for it. So lots of farmers reduced the amount of production they were doing. Yeah? And apart from that, you had basically a waste of time as the Minister of Agriculture. That's why you had to move him and put him over in culture or something. Yeah, you had to move him. Yeah, because it was a waste of time in the Ministry of Agriculture. He used to talk a lot about agriculture, agriculture, and then when he got the opportunity to actually do something in agriculture, he did something in truth. He make a mess out of agriculture. Yeah? Because lo and behold, let me ask the farmers that are out there, my good friends, who are farmers out there, have you heard from this government in relation to the issue of irrigation? Yeah? There may be a stream, there may be a spring that's close to where you have your products and so on. Has this government sent out field officers? Have they provided funding through the Oh no, they can't provide funding for you through the GDP because ministers had to get $2 million for the business that closed. and other ministers had to get $1 million plus to be able to go and do the house and them kind of thing. So farmers, have you received a little 50,000, a little 100,000? I say local, a little 50,000, a little 100,000, because to them that is local, because when they go in GDP, they just hit there for millions. Were you able to get any funding to assist you with irrigation, considering the situation that we are in right now, so that you can continue to produce food? Or you ain't hear nothing from the ministry? You expected to hear from the Ministry of Agriculture, working along with the National Water and Sewage Authority, that they would provide assistance for irrigation to the farmers and so on. Nothing? Not a word? Nothing at all? Well, if fishermen go into GDB and they wouldn't give them the money to buy the boat and the engine and so, like they expect them to buy the boat and then take 2 paddle and go out in the water like old time. You need to take 2 oar and go and oar the boat out in the middle of the water and fish and then oar the boat back in. In 2024, like that is what they expect some of them fishermen to do. So they're giving you the money for the boat, but they ain't giving you the money for the engine. Yeah? Or maybe they expect you to go and stay in the back of the boat and just push to go out in the water. Yeah? So that's the kind of things that are taking place. And we must not stay quiet on these issues. We have to ask the questions. But again, this government operates on a need-to-know basis. So when it comes to the MNIB, when it comes to the performance of these different people that they have given positions, you recognize and you realize that there is no reporting taking place. None. They do not believe that they need to report to us. Who is we? They ain't bound to talk to us. They ain't bound to tell us nothing. And on top of that, they could slap another 5,000 onto all of these people's salary. And who is we to tell them, you have to pay people good? Who is we to tell them, don't slap another 5,000 onto these people's salary? So they would slap another 5,000 on, and then after they slap the other 5,000 on, still no reporting. So these individuals have held this position for quite a period of time. Where's the reporting? What have they done? You heard the launch of the creative economy. We don't even know how much millions were spent on that launch. You're hearing that the person who in charge of the creative company got subcontracts to do certain work for the launch of the creative economies. In other words, they benefited financially. That's what we've been hearing. But they ain't giving you that information. But since the launch of the creative economy, let me see, how much movies have been filmed in Grenada again that the creative economy had something to do with? You have fellas making all kind of videos and things right now. How much of them have been working along with that particular organization? Or is it an organization in name only to provide money to friends and family? Because it seems as though that's what this government do when they do something, is to provide money to friends and family. And then they're just getting rid of everybody. The latest I hear to go is the cleaners at the ministerial complex. Gone. They get rid of them. Well, some of them. Yeah. Why? They perceive them to be supporters of the new national party. So they have families to take care of. They have bills to take care of. They ain't paying taxes here in Grenada. The neighbors string no berry here. They just consider them to be new national party supporters. So I hear, so I buy, so I sell. That just so. Whoop. That's the end of them. Contract pull. They pull the contract didn't end, They pulled the contract from them. The cleaners at the ministerial complex. So as of the end of this month, they had to go home. Why? Look and see who they're going and bring in. Look and see who they're going and bring in. At least the last NDC administration. They may have brought in 1 or 2 people, but by and large, the cleaners and so that they met there, they left them. They didn't interfere with them. They leave the people. They're doing a good job, they leave them. So all of a sudden now you recognize that this administration moving in a very anti-way. So it's get rid of them. Them cleaners and them look like an NP. I sure they see that one in a rally. So they're getting rid of them because of that. That's the way that they're operating. And we're supposed to stay silent and not ask questions, isn't it? Yeah. 4407377. And folks, you see the thing with the call the last 5 minutes, I ain't going to take it, eh? Nice. I'm telling all you. I ain't going to take the call in the last 5 minutes. That is the time I got to be going.
Marching on to victory. NMP we marching on to victory.
So this individual that mentioned earlier that when they went to receive money at Western Union in New York from Grenada, that person, they have their green card and they have their ID and everything, and they were still put in a position where they take a picture of them at Western Union for whatever reason. And I'm saying, if Grenada continues to go against the agreement that they have with the U.S. Treasury Department, there will be consequences to the financial sector here in Grenada. That's not a if, what, or but about it. There will be consequences for the financial sector here in Grenada if that is not sorted out. We have a caller online. Hello, good evening.
Good night, brother.
Hey, good night. Go right ahead.
Yeah, great program last night, great thing this morning.
Okay.
I would advocate that you have program right through the day, right through the month, making people aware of what's going on in Grenada. A lot going on, and this government was talking, brother. A lot going on, and this government no talk. I don't remember what happened in 2012 with the NDC when they, I think it's around that time when they had the big split between them. You hear any NMP getting involved in or any particular how to put it here, getting involved in the affairs of the NDC and talking about leadership and all this thing. So why they so eager to find out now about NMP convention and Keith Mitchell don't want to go and leadership in the party and all this kind of thing when their business more dirty than anybody else, only for one for a better word. You understand? So I mean, why they don't just leave us alone, let we do we thing, and they go get the end result if they make the full rest of the term. Seriously, because a lot going on inside there, and then they just as going around the country now, and I'm hearing a lot of people saying the same thing you said a while ago. A lot of things happening in Grenada, and it's on a need-to-know basis. It's not we business they're running. Now our business they're doing, their business they're doing in the country. Not Grenada business they're doing. Brother, just keep that program going and let the Grenadian people be aware of what's taking place. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. And I just got a message here. At least they could have allowed them to drop off children between 8:30. Yeah, they close it off. Let's say they close it off at 9. So in the same way that you have a certain street further up Lucas Street there that you could pass at a certain time, another time you can't enter, they could have easily said, okay, drop off at that location is at this time. So that at the end of the day, the children walk down the hill and they go and they get a bus. But in the morning time, you could say you're allowed to stop and drop off. Buses are allowed to stop and drop off at that point up to 9 a.m. After 9, buses cannot stop there. So you give enough time for the children to get to school, right? So by 9, or even if you want to say 8:30, 8:45, but you give up to a specific time, you say they could drop off there. That's for the issue at the top of Market Hill. They could drop off there and they stop at a particular time. So, I mean, I think that's a good idea, actually. I think that's a very good idea. Yeah, I think that's a good one. 440-7377. All of them who used to talk about corruption, I ain't hearing them now. You could imagine a new National Party administration. I just put it like this. Let's imagine a new National Party administration. And Dr. Mitchell had a CBI company. The same people who sit down with their mouth glue like super glue. I know if they use super glue for toothpaste and the mouth stick. Or they use it for lip gloss and their mouth can't open. So the same people that you realize ain't saying nothing now. The same elements who call themselves civil society, because only one person that is here talking there. But the same people who used to call themselves civil society, they would have been out there saying the nastiest and the worst against the new National Party. Dr. Mitchell own a CBI company, or some minister own a CBI company. Yeah, 2 in this instance, 2. They have nothing to say. We have a caller online. Hello, good night. Hello, good night, caller. Go right ahead. Okay, they're listening in the background. Caller, talk on the phone line. Hello, yes, you're live, caller. Hello, caller, you're
Good night.
Yeah, you're listening in the background, man. Listen to us on the phone line.
I was trying to say Grenada know what they have, what it.
Yeah,
Good night, Sheldon.
No, just lower the volume in the background. You know better than that, my love.
I say Grenada know what they have, but they don't know what they would have get.
Indeed. All right, bye there. Hello? Hello?
They don't know what they would have get.
Hey, speak to me on the phone. Don't talk and then listen to here in the background, because I'm going to have to terminate the call if you continue doing that. Yeah, so speak to me on the phone, stop speaking and then trying to listen in the background. Okay, now, yeah, you can't speak to me on the phone, my love, and try to hear yourself afterwards speaking. That ain't supposed to be on when you call anyway. All right? And I may have to put a rule in place that if people call and I'm hearing the device in the background playing, that I immediately terminate the caller. Right? I may have to do that. It may be the first time that you're calling a program, so we'll excuse it. But remember, when you're calling, you're going to hear yourself. It's a recorded program. You can even go back afterwards tomorrow and listen, and you will hear yourself. So there's no need to listen to speak to me, and then you're waiting now to hear it come across the computer or the radio or so, okay? Nice. We love you. Remember, right? So we're working with it next time, eh? We want to hear from you. Nice. 440-7377. Oops. 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Which one is it now? I think it's, let me see. Let me make sure which line. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Okay, I think I hit the wrong.
Thank you so much for, a wonderful program. I mean, all your programs are special.
Thank you.
But the one this evening was exceptionally informative. And I hope people really try and remember so that we can present the facts and share the facts with others. I also want to thank you for your labor and your sacrifice of love, because I knew you were in the studio this morning at the press conference because I was there. So we want to also acknowledge that and not take you for granted, because you're really doing a fantastic job.
That piece of walk from Tempe ain't easy. That piece of walk from Tempe Junction up to here ain't easy. Now it's on. Oh, God.
And when I saw you walking there, I had just gotten there, and I'm saying, oh my God. Goodness, why didn't I think? Yeah, so, but the press conference went very well. And I think it just shows up the new National Party being a notch above many, I'm just being conservative here. And we operate at a certain level. And it was clearly displayed in today's press conference. I want to congratulate everyone who took part and who, all who did the preparatory stuff behind the scenes. And we look forward to a very fantastic time together in the commemoration and celebration of the 40 years of existence of the new National Party. And I am going to say something, and I think I speak for, if not all, the majority, that it is an honor to be associated with an organization like the new National Party. I feel really, really proud to be a part of that organization, and the history of the party speaks for itself. So I just want people out there to be not distracted by the naysayers and those who are trying to, by all means, take Dr. Mitchell down, which can't happen because he's really, really in God's hands, and this party is a party that is covered by a lot of prayers and all that. So we just have to stay focused and be not distracted. And I just want to remind everyone again, please let us do what we have to do the work, and let us just embrace each other and embrace our party and look forward to a grand celebration as the year progresses. Sheldon, I want to thank you so much, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to share this. And all the NNPites out there, just big up yourselves like they will say, because we belong to a fantastic organization. Take care and good night.
I thank you, my dear. And there's one thing that I always say. You see two NNPI quarreling with each other, leave us alone. Because as soon as you come in between, just remember, all are we is NNP. Don't come in between meeting. Right? One person might be vexed with the next one person might be quarreling with the next one. At the end of the day, just remember something. When you come, we ganging up on you still, you know. Don't play with us. We ganging up on you still. Yeah, because at the end of the day, all are we is NNP. Right? 4407377. Let me go to the phone lines again. Hello, good evening.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hey, bro, what's up? How you doing, man?
Finally. Break, boy. What?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sheldon, I just want to say happy anniversary to the NNP. Happy 40th anniversary to the NNP. And to the members, the party leader, everybody here, stay strong. We build one brick by brick. You know, we did. We strong as ever, but just unity. And Sheldon, lastly, something I want to talk. I heard some people making remarks about our party and about our convention, and they are not members of the party. They are not supporters of the party. I just wanted to know, why so interested in our convention now when you wasn't interested in it when the party was in power? Right? Hypocrisy is not a good thing. Right? And that's all I have to say to those people. Have a good night, Sheldon.
All right. Thank you, bro. I'll say this, though. I've heard some people making statements in relation to convention, and I see others grabbing it and run with it. And let me say, one of the individuals that has been speaking has not been associated with the New National Party in the past 5 years. They were not involved in the last election campaign. The last 2 election campaigns, in fact, if I remember correctly, they were not involved in. They had absolutely nothing to do with the NNP. And so I see them out there pontificating as though they were sitting in the NNP executive up until recently. Also, they had nothing to do with NNP in the last 5 years. NNP had all different functions. We didn't see them. In fact, when NDC had function, you're seeing them there. And they come pontificating on the New National Party as though they have been in the NNP and they know what is being said in executive, and they sit down there and they hear this and that kind of thing. So one of them has not been around the NNP for at least the last 5 years, and it could be more. Yeah, they had nothing to do with the 2018 election campaign. The 2022 election campaign, they definitely were not around. And after that, they have been going to the NDC functions. All kind of functions the NDC have the day. But when it comes to the NNP, they haven't been there. But they come and they so love the NNP and they so care about the NNP that they have to be making all sorts of statements and attacking Dr. Mitchell and so. All kind of things they had to say. They were nowhere around for the last so much years. Where were they? Where were they to assist the New National Party and to bring the work forward in the last few years? They were nowhere around. Yeah? But you see people coming and they're pontificating. Oh, the NNP, and this is what is going to happen, and that is what's going to happen, and so on. And some people taking it and they run with it and they don't realize these people have not been in the NNP for several years. They haven't been around. They see opportunity, and you know, sometimes what good to say, good to keep. Let me... What good to say, good to keep. My mother always used to tell me that, you know. My grandmother used to tell me that too. Sometime what good to say, good to keep. And yes, as a good friend of mine just remind me, there was a foundation member of the NDC too. Well, all you think I'm afraid to say is Mr. Lalsinger talking about? Yes, is Kenny Lalsinger talking about? Yeah. Yeah, he pontificating out there and all kind of thing. When last, always NNPites. When last, always see Kenny in anything NNP have? When last, always see him? But you're out there pontificating and calling people all kind of names and all kind of thing. Yeah, when NDC have functions in there, we know he was a founding member of the NDC. But when last has he been in any NNP function? Those who out there talking and making all the kind of noise. When last you see them around the New National Party? Some of the people that I hear going and making all kind of statements out there and making all kind of noise out there. And I just sorry time nearly up on me now. Some of the people are here making statements and saying all kind of things out there. I didn't see them in 2008 coming up to 2013 when we were out there fighting to bring the new National Party back into power. Some of the people that you're seeing out there saying certain things, they had a low profile. Yeah? When the NNP was under attack on different things, some of them low, they had nothing to say. Anyway, time nearly up, so I'll go leave that one alone. We go deal with that one next night, you know. We have to deal with it, you know. Because I tend to think sometimes, even myself, I tend to leave it alone. Yeah, sometimes I tend to leave some of these things alone and I say, well, okay, if it's said over there, leave it over there. And so, but you know, sometimes when you always leave it there and you always say leave it there and you always leave it there, it take grung and people start to run with it and people start to say, sometimes you have to take it and just deal with it and done with it. Yeah? So I have a feeling we got to deal with it and done with it sometime soon. Because some of the nonsense that's being said has to be answered, isn't it? Yeah, some of the nonsense that's said has to be answered. Folks, that is all the time we have for the new... That is all the time we have for the program tonight. Yeah? We are nearly out of time. I'd like to thank each and every one of you who have contributed in whatever way to the program this week. Those of you that have called, those of you that have given a positive word out there on the street, those of you that have made very, very good suggestions. I would like to thank each and every one of you, even the people that just meet me and say, Sheldon, I just want to see you. I just want to touch your hand. Yeah, Sheldon, I listen to you every night. Sheldon, me and you go have problem because my wife not coming to bed until you say good night and you start to play your end tune. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you to the husbands that waiting for the wife to come to. Thank you to the wives that waiting for the husband to come to because they're listening to the program. All they know they're supposed to listen to the program like Martin and Miss B, teach them now. Yeah, Richard and Paula, teach them. All they're supposed to listen to the program as a couple. Mrs. Marine and Mr. Hudson McPhill, a special good night to you. Roy and Umlin, good night to all of you. Yes, Miss Emmons, good night. Yes, folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here tonight and being here this week with you. This is our final program for the week. We'll be back on Monday, God's willing, with more Talking Points for you. In the interim, though, because we realize on the weekends now, we just here, you understand what we just here by Monday morning, yeah. So let me hope this weekend, pray extra. Pray for our nation, pray for our children, pray for our country, pray for peace and stability. Yeah, you may not support them, pray for the government, pray for the opposition, pray for everybody, and pray with an honest and willing heart. All right? So folks, in everything you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. I'm Sheldon Scott. I am out of here. Do enjoy the rest of your night tonight. Yeah?